Welcome to the Ghost of Highbury live stream. I'm your host, Anton Keith. Thank you so much for joining me. This is the inaugural episode, inaugural live stream. Thank you so much for joining me. Um, of course, you can see this is a live stream, podcast, vlog, whatever you want to call it, about the Arsenal. I love it. You love it. And we need to discuss it because we got a lot of things going on. We want to see it get back to the glory, which was what we loved and we cherished at Highbury. We want to see that come back. We want to see that at the Emirates now. So let me introduce myself a little bit. I'm Anton. I'm from the U.S. I know a lot of the majority of Arsenal fans are in and around Europe, but I'm from the U.S. I've been a massive Gooner for a little while. I would call myself a new age a Gooner. Um, Unfortunately, football, basketball rules here in the US, and I was a fan for a long time. So it wasn't until about close to 15 years ago when I discovered football. And so, saw Thierry Henry and really kind of never looked back. So that's really a little bit about me. I'm just like you guys. I'm nothing special. I just want another place to have discord about what's going on with our club and how we can return it to its former glory. And so that's why I named the live stream "The Ghost of Highbury" because I believe that ghost, that aura, that spirit is hovering around the place. But for some reason, we just can't penetrate what's going on. So we need to figure it out. We're gonna do it together. Um, as I said, this is the inaugural episode, so please subscribe, comment. I want to grow the channel. It's here for the long run, and yeah, that's really it. So, what I like to do, I don't want to take a lot of time talking about myself because this channel is really about speaking to a larger community and about talking about what we can do to restore Arsenal and put some of that luster, that shine back on our club that we love. So let's talk about the game against Brentford, week one. And it was, how would you describe it? I would say that it was exactly what we've been watching for the past few years. Um, Dominating the ball, dominating possession, um, little tricks and flicks here and there, but nothing really concrete. Nothing really to make you say, okay, we're moving in the right direction. We have a lot of big money players. We have a lot of young, exciting talent. But they're just not, they just haven't been able to kick into gear. And I really just don't understand it. So I am so looking forward to engaging with everybody because maybe you'll say something that I will really like hope and pray and lean on and hope that it works out. And maybe I'll say something that might change your mind about things. But let's talk about the game. I'm gonna pull up some of the stats from the game, let you guys take a look. I'm sure everybody's seen them by now. Everybody's into their, who has like fan channels and this and that has already talked about it. And so I want to talk about it too. So let me just pull it up here. And no, that's not what we want to do. We want to share our screen. So here we go. 2-0. Goal was in the 22nd minute, and then goal in the 73rd minute. And I guess what we can do player ratings and talk about how we feel about, everything that happened before and after. We got to talk about that because that's going to be what's dominating. That's going to be what's dominating the headlines and the discussion and the discourse leading up to the next game is that we're missing, our two big money strikers. So we need to figure out. I mean, that's 100 million plus wrapped up in sickness somehow, whether it's COVID or something else that we don't have a solution to because I know a lot of us want to play Balogun. I know a lot of us want to play Martinelli. I know it's even been spoken about even putting Pepe in the front. It's probably the only thing we haven't done. And then things are coming out. Rumors are starting to leak out about dissent and revolt and all that sort of things. But all that stuff is neither here nor there. I don't really want to comment on that sort of thing. But I guess I'll just let things play out, and I'll react afterwards, because I don't. There's a lot of people who feel really comfortable about saying something and being absolutely wrong and just letting it go. And I'm not really interested in doing that. I love to live in a land of reality. When we know what's happening and those things are confirmed, then we'll deal with it then. In terms of like, well, this is why he's out. They said he was sick, but then we think it's something else. I'll wait. In terms of transfers and things like that, I know they're in the knows, and people who want to be in the knows, who like to talk a lot. It's nice to speculate. It's good to talk about, but then you can't really put it into your plans until they put that pen to paper, and you see them holding up one of the shirts, doing one of these or something like that. So let's just wait until that moment for that. So yeah, 2-0. And what I would say is it was boring. We are boring to watch. I mean, I think back a couple years when we played. Who was it? Was it I can't think of the game where we were singing "We Got Our Arsenal Back" and all that type of stuff. It was one of the first games of the season, and I thought like, wow, we are like putting the screws to these guys. I don't know if I was expecting that on Friday, but I expected it to just be like, I expected it to be the opposite. I expected it to be 2-0 to us. We didn't do anything ridiculous. Nothing happened out of the ordinary. It was just like a nice, easy win to ease us into the season. And, we move on from here because we got two tough games ahead of us in Man City and Chelsea. So that's kind of what I was expecting. So, seeing how the game played out was just, I wanted it to be different, ended up being the same. That's all I can say. It was just very, very ordinary, and you look at the lineup, you look at the lineup here, and we are missing someone pretty much at every level. So let's start up top. Burn Leno. I don't know how you guys feel about Burn. Um, I believe he is an amazing stop shot stopper. Um, but what I saw, like the guys holding on to him, following them, and him just kind of sitting there and taking it, you gotta step up. Gotta step up in those moments. You gotta make yourself hurt. I don't care if you pull the guy down and force them to look at VAR, make them check VAR and see that a foul was going on prior to doing whatever you did. You got to do something, because not you're the defenders that the ball's going behind. They thinking that you're going to hit it, which the ball's coming in from the top, so they might not get their head to it. So they're thinking you're going to either raise up and punch or catch, and he didn't do either. Like I said, we'll get to the player ratings in a little bit, but it doesn't appear, and this is I would say a explanation towards what I think one of the problems is at our club, is that the players that he has, they aren't set up for what he wants to do. What's in his mind about the perfect Arsenal club for him and his vision. These are not the guys. And some of them have, I would wager all of them have been playing football their entire lives in a certain way. Some people can adapt and roll and say, okay, we're going to go with 3 at the back or 5 at the back or whatever it may be. I need you to push up. But then some things, like playing with your feet more, they're not going to be able to do, right? For example, if all of a sudden you run track and you're okay, you're in the middle of the pack, you're not one of the number one guys or girls on the team, and all of a sudden a new coach comes in and says he wants you breaking world records by next summer, If that's not in your body or that's not in your game, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So either the team needs to get new players, which is what we're trying to do. But the problem is by forcing these players to play in a style that doesn't suit them, you're actually devaluing them because you're showing the world week in and week out that whatever it is you're trying to do, they can't do. That's not helping them, and it's not helping you as the manager to keep your job. So I don't understand why instead of, and it's funny, I was online yesterday and somebody made this point like these players can't do, he wants to be, Mikel Arteta wants to be Pep. And why doesn't he knows these players can't can't adapt to the system that he wants to adapt to. And my response to that was why he can't do another system because he only um he only learned one system one way, and that was under Pep. It wasn't like he bounced around and did his, like worked here at this level, 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 and then finally became an assistant to Pep. He retired and literally went to work for Pep. So this is the only system that he's really been up and close with. So he might, I don't know, he might want to do a different system. But I would say that this is the only system that he really knows the nuts and bolts of, the one he's drilled day in and day out. This is the only thing he knows. He hasn't been around 4 or 5 different coaches to like maybe make some hybrid of systems. Like, okay, well, if this doesn't work, if working the ball from the back doesn't work, all of a sudden I need to go to 3 or this or that. He hasn't been around that. He's not flexible like that. So how can we expect him to do it? But we took a gamble, as everybody knows. We took a gamble. We wanted the young, up and coming coach who, everybody would wish they wanted in 5 years. Either that, or depending upon who you speak to, we took the cheaper option out. We did this, we did that. However it's going, this is who we are stuck with for now until we're not. So let's move on. But anywho, Leno isn't suited for playing out from the back. We know this. And other teams are starting to capitalize. And you could tell whenever he had the ball at his feet and he was making decisions, it was like a switch to the other team. It was a switch to Brentford. Like, okay, like they knew, okay, as soon as you see him thinking about he's going to pass to, that's the time we're going to hit the press. So either we, kick the ball up north and play from the middle, or we're going to keep getting into these problems where we get our keeper into trouble and the other team gets easy goals. I know what I would choose, but hey, that's just me. Let's move to the defenders. We had Tierney, of course, staple, love the guy. We had Ben White making his debut. We had Callum Chambers at right back, and we had Pablo Mari, partnering Ben. And again, we're missing somebody. We're missing Gabriel, who's out with the knee injury until, I believe, September. So he's going to be here at minimum, I think, 5 games, probably more. He'll probably be here until, because then once Gabriel gets fit, which I'm hoping he is, it looked like from watching Instagram and things like that, that he has been working on his fitness. He has been rehabbing his knee. So hopefully there's not this huge window where he's fit as of, let's just say, September 1st, but we don't see him until Halloween because he's not fit, whatever that means. So, I mean, he's not overweight. He looked great the last time I seen him, online. Take that with a grain of salt, of course, but he should be ready to go. I would say second week of September. So we're going to have to deal with having Pablo Mari and Callum Chambers, unless for some reason we rotate to Ainsley We go back to Hector, which if you've been online today, you see that he's actually been vocal about wanting to leave and even wanting to take a pay cut if that's what it takes for him to leave. He wants to go to Spain. I think his Inter bought Dumfries from Holland. So, I mean, but we have like four guys on the books. I don't know what Cedric did. I don't know if it's his attitude. I don't know what, but you brought him in on loan. No, 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 no. You bought him on a free. I think and gave him a 2-year deal and then you extended it. So why are we extending players that we don't plan on playing? It's just bad business. Maybe I watch I grew up watching the NBA. I grew up watching the NFL. And that's just not something that you see in these sports that are done. So I don't know if it's like a football thing, um, or if it's an Arsenal bad management thing. But I don't understand. I mean, you're signing players to extensions and then not putting them on the field. You're not. That's not a good return on your investment. I don't understand. So, so we went with that back four, and I talked about a little bit about with Leno when Chambers and Mari got the ball. Again, it was like a switch for Brentford to say these are the two guys who we probably identified as not being able to handle the press well, and we are going to key in on them and force turnovers, which is what they did, and which is what happens every game. There, you can always count on Leno, and then depending upon who the back four is, because it's always a different lineup every single week. Which I digress. That's another issue we can talk about another live stream. But here we are, and so that's what happened. I mean, and so then you move to the midfield, to which, as a fan, I looked at this lineup and I said, considering that we don't have Thomas Partey, I would expect this is the best that we can get. What do you think? If leave me a comment and let me know what could we have possibly done better in the midfield. He didn't make room for anyone else. We don't want to see El Nini. We know that because we've seen that, right? We've if you believe everything that's come out, we've given Granit Xhaka his extension or triggered an option in his current contract that gave him another year. So he's tied down to 2025 instead of giving him a new deal. I think there's some discrepancy or some discussion online whether it's a brand new contract outright or are we just triggering extensions that come with pay rises if we choose to use those options. I don't know. So then we had Emil in the 10, we had Pepe on the right, we had Sambi and Granite as kind of a double pivot, and then we had Gabriel on the left. And so I would imagine everybody would have said, well, if we had Partey, then we would have done Sambi and Partey because they look good in the Chelsea game right up until Thomas got hurt. And I would say that Sambi did a good job. His debut looked good. But I think that the problem is that our level is so low that we're elevating these young players up to a status that they can't possibly live up to. Right now, all of these young players, and I will include Smith Rowe in there with Sambi. I would include Gabriel Martinelli. I would include Balogun. I would include Bukayo Saka into this class of player. These young players who should be on our bench ready to rock and roll when their number's called. Not starting week in and week out being responsible for the elevation of Arsenal Football Club. That's just ridiculous. Or even if you just had one, even if you just had Saka, who played week in, week out, started week in, week out. I could, I could, I could rock with that, right? But you see it, Man City, Phil Foden. Phil Foden doesn't start week in, week out. He's a tremendous talent, tremendous, but doesn't have the pressure of starting week in, week out. So why do we do that? And I don't want to hear anything about money. It's really about quality. We have quality players. So all we need to do, we need to put them in place to succeed. And we're not doing that. So I don't really understand, you know, what the management staff at this club thinks is supposed to happen. And then what's going to happen, what I think is going to happen next is hopefully this holds out until we have some sort of change in management. You have these kids can take a step back, because what happens is if you're playing week in and week out, you might get addicted to that. And all of a sudden, as a young player, you get this big head thinking you should start where you shouldn't. And it's funny is because let's take Pepe, for example. Nicolas Pepe was brought in to rock and roll. He might not be the finished product, but he came into rock and roll. And he rock and rolled for a little bit. You could see incremental growth. It might not have been the tremendous astronomical growth that would have come with his transfer, but it should have come. But we expected that. That's fine. I don't necessarily have an issue with that. What I do have an issue with is that we brought in Willian, and then we didn't play him, and I think we stunted his growth. You bring in a guy for $80 million and then you don't play him. What are we doing? I just don't understand that. And then now all of a sudden, he probably played, I would say, 40% of the games that he should have played last year. And all of a sudden, we saw that he did make some strides towards the end of the year because it became readily apparent that Willian wasn't the guy. He ain't it. Okay? We get it. Okay? Sometimes you gamble when you bring a player on, no matter who it is. They could have all the talent in the world. They can come with this big reputation. They can come with this and that. But until you sign a dotted line, you put on this shirt, and you go out on that field, you cross those white lines and you perform, we never know. So we signed William to a deal. It was a bad deal, but we signed him to it, and he didn't perform. But it was apparent early that he wasn't going to perform. It was apparent. But instead, he stuck with him instead of giving Nicolas Pepe the minutes he needed to excel. So then we move to Balogun. And this is an example where, I don't think that he went into the day thinking he needed to play Balogun up front. But he did what he could do. Our system isn't set up to provide decent, plentiful chances to our forwards. And he didn't get a really good chance to shine. Just didn't. So he didn't look good. He looked out of his depth. He looked like he had never started a Premier League game. Some people like Sambi might excel in that situation. Others like Balogun might not. It takes a really good team effort and a lot of people behind you to make yourself look good on your debut as a striker. As a holding midfielder, you need to be where you need to be and make the passes you need to make. And he did that. He didn't make any $1 million passes or anything like that, but he also was where he was supposed to be. He was tidy on the ball. He escaped the press and generally had good physical condition. He didn't look tired. He didn't look like he was tiring or anything like that. He looked like he was in shape and ready to go. What more can you ask? Balogun, on the other hand, looked good, made the part, but experience in that position would have told him what to do in those moments. And he didn't. He maybe got one good chance, maybe two during that entire, I don't know how much time did he stay on the field? Let's see. He came on. Yeah, he did 60 minutes. He came on for soccer at the 60th minute. Yeah. Which is, depending upon, he could say like, okay, that was a good start. I'm gonna be ready for next week because they're already making excuses for why Bellerin and why Lacazette and Aubameyang won't be there against Chelsea. So will he do something different? I don't know. He might go to three at the back because he's worried about Lukaku. I have no idea what he's going to do next week because it'll be different because it's always different. So I think a lot of these players, and tell me how you feel about this. I think I think it's too much pressure on Smith Rowe and Saka to carry a club this big. I think Balogun and Martinelli could use a loan. I would say Martinelli. I'm okay with him not taking a loan because right now we play him at winger. But we don't have a winger for him to look at and say, okay, I need to emulate this guy because he does an amazing job, but then add my own special spin to it to make me surpass him or for whatever, so that I'm ready in case he gets transferred or he gets hurt. I step in, boom, I'm ready to go. But it seems like we don't even know if we want him to be a winger or a striker. We have no idea. We're gonna do like a Thierry Henry thing to him where he comes in as a winger and then we convert him into the striker like we're doing something on FIFA 22 or something like that. I don't know. But he's not gonna get the game time that he needs, which is what he needs. This is what these players, once they move into the first team, there are some room for substitutes because you do need to rotate the team. But okay, we're only in 3 tournaments this year. We're gonna be in the, I don't know, they're calling it the Cup, League Cup. We're going to be in the FA Cup, and then we're going to be in the league. Usually we have a fourth thing. We're in Europe somehow, either in the Europa League or we're in Champions League. We're not in either one of those right now. And so the FA Cup and the league come few and far between. They're not really, they don't happen that often. So how are these guys going to get playing time? As a player, you need to have the mindset that you need to play, no matter what that means. Depending upon what's going on with Alba and Laca, they might say, oh, I don't need to go anywhere because those guys might be leaving. Here's my shot. You're not ready. Not ready. Neither one. Martinelli or Balogun, not ready. Reece Nelson, not ready. And there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't, lower or elevate them into any sort of status or what I think about them or what the fans should think about them. It just means that they're not ready at this time. That's fine. You're a great young talent. When you are ready, we will evaluate then. And so, yeah, the game was just nothing that excited me. I was excited for the event. I was excited to see us back, in the league. I was excited for the start, and we were just manhandled, for lack of a better term. Ivan Toney bullied our guys. In Mbuemo, he spun he spun White and Mari, and almost got an amazing goal. Luckily, it hit the post. And Ben coming in, time will tell. He's only had 1 year in the Premier League. I understand the Premier League tax, and we paid over the odds for him. It is what it is. He wanted a ball playing center back. That's what he is. He looks like he has the potential to develop into something that will last for a long time. But in a situation where his partner keeps rotating, um, the people in and around him, i.e., Chambers and Mari, are super slow. He has to sweep up. Leno's not sure about where how to dominate the box, so he has to sweep those things up too. It's a lot to put on a young player because he is still young. So that's the lineup. Saka came in. Tavares came in at right back, which as you can see, we have Hector Bellerin, we have Cedric, we have Ainsley Maitland-Niles. And what does he do? He brings in Nuno at right back. And I don't know if you guys saw this. Nuno does not have a right foot. I mean, he is the Granit Xhaka of fullbacks. He does not have a right foot. I mean, I'm not talking about like, okay, just prefers his left. I mean, he got to the point where he could make some good crosses. He got forward really well. And then he had to cut it back because he could not cross on that right foot. And so you had to know that going in. You have to know, okay, well, he doesn't, or you're thinking about that and you're looking at these guys and you're saying like, well, I'm going to put this guy with no right foot on the right side and expect him to put crosses in. Or had conceded and you didn't care if he put crosses in or not, you just wanted him to defend so that we wouldn't lose, so they wouldn't score any more goals. This guy told you that he's not known for scoring. That's what he told you when he came in. Remember the interview? He said, I'm known for going forward, taking shots, being tricky, blah, 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 blah. He ain't mentioned defense at all. Right? And so everything that we've seen, I'm not talking about what you said, because what you say and what you do are two totally different things. I'm talking about what you said, what I saw, and what I've seen so far in preseason, and then now this game is two things. Two, your teammates are going to have to remind you to get back and defend. And one, you need to get back on D. And two, you don't have a right foot. So putting you as a right back ain't the wave. It ain't it. It ain't going to work. Okay? So now was those guys on the bench sick? What happened? I need answers. I don't understand. If you guys hear my dog, it's my dog barking. I'm in my office, and my dog hates the mailman and everybody else. So excuse that. But yeah, it's unbelievable. The decisions that are made at this club in terms of management. I just don't get it. Did I lose you guys? Stand by just 1 second. There we go. We back. Back again. So yeah, I don't understand the decisions that we make. And so yeah, I don't follow a lot of blogs and a lot of podcasts. I've watched a lot of them, but I'm not really like a massive follower of a lot of things. So I wanted to create a space for all Gooners, but I didn't see a lot of US based content coming out because a lot of us have. I know there's some people from across the pond who live here now, and so, but I just wanted to get a take from US guys because I don't hear a lot of people from the US giving their takes on the status of our clubs. And so I was like, wow, I see a space. I'm gonna go for it. And I work in this space already in terms of live stream management, podcasting, and things like that. That's kind of what I do for my main job. And so yeah, I wanted to I've always wanted to do this. And so now I kind of have the space and the opportunity to do so. Um we're gonna do a lot of different things. I'm lining up guests. Me just sitting here talking my head off. Will be for the most part, some things. But I do plan on having guests and pod. I don't know if I'm gonna go the audio only podcast route, just because YouTube provides a way and tech provides a way that like people love to visually see what's going on with people. And so I can record a really decent podcast, not being a live stream, and still maybe put out the content that I want. So I think at this point, unless things change, unless the community as it grows wants that sort of thing, I will stay in the YouTube, Twitch um space. So so yeah, it was just a very, very poor game. Very poor. Um, and it maybe poor strong. I think poor is a cumulative or in a cumulative sense, just because we've seen what's happened. No one did anything particularly wrong. It just seems like on the goals. What was the first goal? The first goal was the Callum Chambers ball's going out. He saves it. He comes back. Kennedy defends, and it hits. It goes in the Leno's near post. It's it's something they should be stopping, but the ball is it's cannon in. Like he can't. He's the one who had to defend, even though he stopped it. People are saying, "Oh, well, he should have shown him the right side or something like that, shown them his right or shown them his left or something like that." So he can get double teamed. I don't know. I just know that if we have, I think there are players here who have been here so long that the jury's out. We know they're not going to make some miraculous leap in skill and development at this point. They're not, and that's okay. But if we are who we say we are to me, um, then that level shouldn't be enough for us. And it's not I'm gonna take it personal thing. I'm gonna get on social media and abuse you kind of thing because you're not good enough, or I don't think you're good enough, so I'm gonna do this and do that. No, that's childish. Childish. Not doing that. However, in the word of, this is a multi-billion-dollar business. And you should get what you pay for. And if you don't get it, then you bring in the things that you need to succeed. And the fact of the matter is there are a plethora of players on this team who don't fit the ambitions of the club. Maybe. And the only reason I would say maybe is because sometimes it appears, according to what they do, not what they say, none of that be excited trash that Josh put out a couple years ago. I'm talking about what you do. And what you've done shows me that you're okay with being mediocre. You're okay with being mid-table. And if that's the case, come out and say that. You've said it in so many words, and maybe I think sometimes we don't we're not reading the writing on the wall. But if you truly, truly care, you got to take some hits. You got to take some hits. Okay? If you look at it logically, there's a lot of players that you wish you could sell 20, 30, 40, 50 million dollars a piece. It's funny how we don't get the British tax on any of our players. We didn't get it on Joe. That was 25. If we're doing British tax, he's done more than Ben White. You're gonna have an argument with me saying that In terms of prospects, he's more of a prospect. Ben White's more of a prospect than Joe Willock. I don't know. Joe has played more games in the league, scored more goals, did more things in the Premier League than Ben White has. But one was double the transfer fee of the other. So what do you do? Is that a management thing? Is it a player development thing? Because he went to another club and showed out. He showed out. He scored 7 goals. That's more than our entire midfield. Everybody. So that's what earned him that money, that deal. Right? We didn't get to sell him for $40-45 million. Okay, Ben White's at most a $35-25 million, somewhere in that range. If we bought him last year in January, we wouldn't have paid that much. Maybe 25 million. But it's because of his potential, and they know that we need that type of player, and we lost Luis. They ran the price up. I think the problem with Joe was he wanted to go to a broke club with probably the worst owner in the Premier League. And they knew they weren't going to be able to put the British tax on him. I think if Man United, Chelsea, someone else came along that actually had some money, we probably would have put the British tax on. But we were dealing with a broke club, so we couldn't do that. So we was like, all right, 25 million, get that deal done. And we did that. So who else? Who else can we? Nobody wants these players because we've devalued them so much. I think the easy argument is to say they can't live up to Arteta's expectations, so that must mean they are, they're trash. They're trash players, and they're just overhyped, overpaid players that can't do anything right. I think there has to be a little bit nuance there has to be a little bit of nuance to that if you're going to come to that conclusion, because you have to look at the systems. These players did better with Unai Emery. We should have been in the Champions League after his first year. The reason we were not was because of decisions of Unai Emery. Unai Emery decided to play Carl Jenkinson and have those crazy lineups those last 5-6 games where we really needed 1 point to secure top 4. That was his decisions. And Arteta makes some terrible decisions too. Like, for example, not using the same lineup week in, week out, so these guys can come up with some sort of continuity and gel like a team should. While we always walk away from the games thinking that they're a bunch of individuals, they don't really care about each other because they never play with each other. It's going to be 3 or 4 changes, 3, 4, 5 changes every single week. Watch what I tell you. Well, because if Alba and Laca don't play, let's look at the lineup again. Okay, if Alba and Laca don't play, right, he might do something different. I think it's Chelsea coming in Lukaku's first game, and I think he might go back to 3 at the back. I don't know if he might do maybe Saka or somebody on right wing. Of course, put Tierney on left wing and do Ben White, Callum Chambers, and Pablo Mari in a 3. They played in a 3 before. Ben White came from a 3. And Bukayo will have had another week of training under his belt and being up to focus. I mean, he looked decent, but he also looked like he was rusty. But we were dependent on this young kid. We're dependent on kids to save us. It's ridiculous. Okay, he'll have Granite and Sambi again, because I believe Thomas is probably. I saw a picture on Instagram today, him working out without a boot and all that good stuff, walking around. So he's probably still 2 or 3 weeks out. He'll have Albert and he'll have Sambi and Granite in the midfield again, and then he will have some sort of combination of Gabriel, Balogun, and let me see, and with another person. I don't know, but it'll be different because it's always different. So, what do we do? How do we move? Is it the goal to move? Is this right where the owners and the management want us to be? I would say no. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. But I guess the better question is, if we can all agree that this is not where Arsenal Football Club should be, why can't we get an agreement as to what we should do? Are we being too nice? Are we not being ruthless enough as people say? You got to be ruthless. You got to, you got to get people out. You got to, like, I don't care if they offer you a bag of Cheetos and a Coke for Granit Xhaka, you got to take that because we got to get them out. Like, is that what we need to do? I mean, we've done that, so that's why people think that we should do. We pay Mesut Ozil's wages for him to go play for another club. We paid off Mustafi. Okay, I don't know what we did to Koscielny. I don't know. It could cancel his contract. I don't know what we did. Right? We did that. We have a history of doing that. You see, Kolasinac trying to get. He has a few million left on his deal. He's trying to either buy that out or get them to buy him out, because he's like, yo, the whole back line, y'all, you look out for them. You paid them off so they can go. What about me? Let me do that. I saved the guy on our team, actually. So I should have some credit in the bank. Let me get that. Hook me up. Because that's what we have been. That's what we have done. That's not what we have said, but that's what we have done. So we have to make a decision what type of club we want to be. The management has to be better. You shouldn't have, if players are sick, there shouldn't be any reason or any discussion or any doubt as to what's going on with them. I've seen reports come out that say, okay, we spoken to Aubameyang's agent, and he said that he's happy. He has 2 years at the club, 2 years left at the club. He's ready and ready to go. There shouldn't be any doubts. Okay. So then where did all this other stuff come from? Why do we feel like something's going on? Because it's the rollout of whenever something happens, people get sick. Okay? Aubameyang's mom got sick. He got malaria. Okay? Things happen. Nothing wrong with that. And we never, for a minute, but what happens is we think that him and Arteta have this thing going on right now. So every time something happens, we think in the negative. We don't think in the positive. We always think that, like, oh, it's got to be something, because they don't really like each other like that. Why? I mean, I guess sometimes people don't get along. There's nothing wrong with that. But this is too many people now. Let's assume, for the sake of argument, that it is some sort of revolt thing. Okay? And that, they're kind of protesting because they want out, because they're tired of him. Okay? So then you got Lacazette, you've got Aubameyang, and then they said Runnison, because we've run him into the ground, because we decided after a few games that he wasn't good enough. And truth be told, he isn't. Right? So maybe he got sick too and was like, I don't like this dude either. So I'm gonna go with these guys. He was supposed to leave this summer to I think Turkey or somewhere. He was supposed to leave. He's still in the books because we haven't done our business. So he might actually play. We are one Leno jumping up in the air to catch a ball, which I don't know if I'll ever see him do, because never reacts to balls in the air. And coming down and twisting his knee from having run and sent back and goal. So the things that like I'm sure deals have come in, loans have come in. So yeah, we'll take them for a year. You know what I'm saying? We'll take them for a year. They haven't signed off on because you haven't gotten your guys in. You haven't gotten the people you wanted. So now we're stuck with this guy. So he's part of the revolt. Guendouzi, Saliba, Joe Willock, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Reese Nelson. What are we doing? All of a sudden, all of these guys he can't get along with? They're all bad seeds? They're not fit to wear the shirt? You've got to be kidding me. I'm not accepting it. You need to figure out a way to develop these players so even if you don't think that they can take your club any further. Let's give an example. Ainsley Maitland-Niles. If you don't personally like him, you're the manager. You don't personally like him. Personally. I don't like his attitude. He kind of has this, arrogance about him. Whatever. Me personally, I don't care. Do the job. That's what I bring you in for. Should you be friends with everybody? Sure. At the club, sure. But that everybody knows when you go to work, you don't like everybody. And that job is no different. You don't like everybody at all. So why would it be different? I digress. Okay, but you're going to not develop him, not put him in the best place, not in the best positions to succeed, so that if an opportunity comes and somebody wants to buy him because they see the quality in him, but you don't want him, we might not understand at first. We might be like, wait a minute, he's balling. You getting rid of him? It happens all the time. Anytime we want somebody, their fans don't want us to buy them. They're like, no, we need to keep him. Say no. But that's why we have a transfer market. That's why no matter what, if you got money, you can do what you need to do. Here in America, no. In football, American football, no. In basketball, no. In baseball, right? There's salary caps. You can only do so much. They have FFP, but another situation for another day. You gotta develop players. So even if you don't think they're of the level, you have to keep them at their maximum value or get them to their maximum value. So that if somebody decides that they want to come in for them and you decide that they're, I'm good. I got this other guy coming. We're good. You can go. Then you're not sitting there with, begging for scraps. You're not sitting there thinking that like, oh, well, we wanted 20, but they only offering 15, so we're not going to sell. Even though he's been talking trash all summer about leaving and, he loves the land and he needs to speak Italian. They knew his value, but because as a team we stink, his value's dropping and has been we paid $35 million for Granit Xhaka. And his value has dropped every single year. Because we bought somebody for $35 million and we didn't put him in a position to be the best Granit Xhaka that he could be. We're asking him to work through a press and make these intricate passes on the ball. He ain't built for that. And we've seen a lot of dudes on this squad ain't built for that. But what do? We persist with that. Nope, we playing out from the back. This is what we're going to do. And we just gonna have to, if they take the ball off us a couple times, and we just have to. That's just growing pains. We gotta do that. No, you do not. Not if it starts costing you goals in games. No, you do not have to do that. Develop a brain. Look around. See what people are doing. Figure out a way. You're being paid millions of dollars. Figure out a way. Talk to your staff. Figure out a way. Okay, this is what I wanted to do, but we can't do that because these guys, they can't do it. So we need to figure out something else that these guys can do really well so that we can win games and be more competitive and score goals and stop from goals being scored on us. I don't care about possession stats, and we always dominate possession. Always. It never gets us anywhere. We dominate possession, so we don't get scored. We would probably get scored on us more because we can't defend in set pieces. Every set piece, I'm sitting there like this because I think in the second goal, was something that looked like it came out of like when my my daughter and my sons played soccer for a while, and it it looks like something that would happen in like some under-9 game or something, with a ball like bounces in front of everybody and then goes up and around and then somebody gets it in. It's ridiculous. I couldn't imagine what was going through his mind and like the coaching staff's mind when that goal went in. Leno's being held, and he's just like, well, yeah, he's got me. You guys see this? You're the furthest player back. Your body's basically in the goal, and the guy's reaching behind him and holding him. You think that like somebody can see that? They're looking at the scrum of guys and making sure no fouls happen there. They're not looking at you. So you're going to say something. What's the matter? It's ridiculous, that goal. Anywho, the management at this club is just, and it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And I know the narrative is, we don't spend enough money, we don't do this. But if you look at the numbers, we spend a lot of money. Ask Brighton if we spend a lot of money. Ask Sheffield United if we spend a lot of money. Ask Newcastle if we spend a lot of money. I bet they will have a different outlook on what we think. I bet they'll change their mind about us spending money because their clubs don't spend anything. I'm so surprised that Joe got bought by them. But it was because we had probably agreed not to put the English tax on. Right? So, you're trying to compete with Chelsea and Man City. No, he ain't doing that. He's not going to all of a sudden, and I don't think that there's anybody else out there. Never mind. Well, you know what? I take that back. There's always somebody out there who will be willing to do something. Right? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start it today. I am going to start a Twitter thing. I'm going to tweet. I don't know if Magic Johnson has a I don't know if Magic Johnson's on Twitter. But I'm going to tweet Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan every day to get them to buy Arsenal Football Club. That's what I'm going to do. It's stupid. It's a gimmick, right? I don't really expect them to be like, oh, well, just, but I think that like too competitive. I see the way Magic runs the Dodgers. And if you're here in the US, you see, so right now I'm in Virginia. So my local team is the Nationals, the Washington Nationals. They basically took our 2 best guys. That's what they do. That's what they've been doing for like the past 3, 4, 5 years, since Magic got serious. He's been like coming in and figuring out a way to get smart guys working for him and stuff like that because they want to win every year. They spend that money. And, they won championships, right? Michael Jordan, shrewd guy, wants to win. I want to see one of these kids with the jump man, with the Jordan symbol like that, like PSG got. Let's get a PSG deal. I mean, let's get an Air Jordan deal for Arsenal Football Club. And you know what? I'm happy with Adidas. They've been coming out with bomb kits every year. I've enjoyed them. I got the brand. I got the new one on the way right now. I was looking at my phone, and they said it's on its way. Should be here when Thursday, ready to rock and roll. But those PSG kits looking saucy, saucy. Let Jordan own Arsenal Football Club. Him and Magic, but I don't know. They do things in conglomerates now. It's not just one guy, right? Who doesn't care about the club. If Magic and Jordan bought this club, they would care because they are serial winners. They care about competition and winning. They might not have played European football, but they are winners. Stan owns like 5 clubs over here. All of them are trash except the Rams, and their window is shut. They still get Aaron Donald, but they have lost all the other pieces. Aaron Donald is probably on pace to become a Hall of Famer. That's all they got. When they had the full intact unit probably 3 or 4 years ago, they should have went to the Super Bowl. But now, the Chiefs are it now. They're that thing, and then Baltimore's right behind them. So Mahomes and Jackson are going to run shop for years to come. So the Rams window's done. He doesn't care. The owners, I mean the fans who are here of football, he's being sued by St. Louis right now. He is not a good owner. He's not somebody who's going to all of a sudden, no matter how much you guys over there protest and this and that, he ain't going to do that. But here's the only but. He has spent money. I would say if I could put my finger on the number one issue I have with KSC is that they have the people that they have hired to manage the day-to-day operations of Arsenal Football Club have been absolutely hot garbage. Hot, flaming hot Cheeto garbage. The recruiting has been the worst recruiting probably in the Premier League. The management, the contracts, all of that have been the relegation level management. If you think I'm lying, please. I mean, I don't keep up with other clubs, and I am a fanatic for this club. I'm not for any other club. So, I know there are lots of people out there who know a lot about other clubs and know more history and things like that. So they might know, the history of other clubs and this and that. Name me a worse run club over the past 10 years than this one. Name it. I don't mean like, when your owners, if your owner doesn't put any money, which our owner doesn't either, right? But if your owner doesn't put any money into a club, that's only one small aspect of managing a system. How much money you're injecting into the club, right? Because why does this camera keep going out? Give me a second. Oh, there it is. If you don't inject cash into a club, right? What about your academy system? What about the contracts that you have with the players that you do have? Are you selling high and buying low? Are you developing players to a point where, if somebody does come in, they pay big money? There's no doubt they can't lowball you because of this, that, and the third. Are your facilities top notch? Are you cranking out talent after talent after talent? Is your system set up so that you can poach the lower leagues and get guys on the come up and then have a system in place? There are plenty of things you can do besides just, doing the Man City slash Chelsea model to make a club be successful. Leicester City won the league the year that we were supposed to win the league. I'm not going to go into that. Everybody knows. Okay. Right. But it shows that it can be done. They didn't spend a tremendous, the amount of money that they bought Conte and Mahrez for, that's about the money that we pay for Laconga. Things can be done the right way, the way that between me and you, that's the way we want things to be done between me and you. Okay. I know sometimes you want, an oil guy, to come in, right? Everybody wants, because it looks cool, because you look at Man City's team, you're like, wow, Man City got dusted yesterday. It's going to take some time. I'm not one of these dudes that, they ain't going to win the league now because Spurs beat them. Okay. Wait till they get going. We said that last year when they started off slow. What happened? Ran away with it. I knew as soon as Van Dijk got hurt, and you knew it too. But at least they have the players. They have the players, though. That's the thing. We don't have the players. Now, could these players be better? Yes, and that's on the management. Because these players could be better. Could they be supreme? Probably not. But thinking that we're going to come in and spend all this money every year. We spend a good amount of money every year. But it's who we're spending it on and why we're doing it. Everything that we do is panic. Laconga and Tavares have been the first two buys that I can think of within a relatively amount of time in the past that we bought that weren't like panic buys. We needed better quality reserves. So we bought those two guys. That's smart. Whoever came up with this, good on you. I don't know whose decision it was to bring these guys in. Hopefully we don't find out it was like some shady back room, changing money in the parking lot thing. Okay? Hopefully not. But we need more deals like that. Because those guys, if we develop them correctly, oh, great. I'll share this with you at the end. Things are coming out about Aubameyang and Barca. And yeah, it's by some tier 1 guys that are coming out. So we'll discuss that in just a minute. Let me just finish this point and then we'll wrap up. I'll talk about this. We need more guys like that, like those two. Tavares, meh, he's a prospect. Tierney's hurt a lot. We had a need because that's what killed us last year, playing Granit Xhaka at left back, because we thought it was smart to send Kolasinac out. And I'm not saying that Kolasinac would have been amazing, because he's not, but at least he's a left back. We didn't have Ainsley, who could go over there, who has gone over there in the past and done a job. And we didn't have Kolasinac. And then all of a sudden, we found out that Cedric doesn't have a left leg. So that didn't work out. So it's these decisions that we make that are just ridiculous. This management has to get better. Has to get better. It just does. So let me see. We're up at like 115. So I'm gonna chill for now. I was gonna do player ratings, but you guys have done your, actually, you know what? Let me see if I did my ratings the other day. Let me pull up Twitter. I'll just show you my feed. Do me a favor, like and subscribe, please. Like and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it if you did. I love to keep the channel going. Yeah, I'm gonna have to fix this camera. Um, but yeah, like and subscribe. I would love to engage with you guys. I would absolutely love it. I love the live stream vibe. Um, the time the time can be different. I'll put another poll out. I asked the other day, what would be the best time? Some people some it was like divided between really early during the middle of the day like this, and then sometime at night. So I'm kind of flexible when it comes to that. So yeah, you know, on the next one we do, I just want to put it in a space where I can capture the most people, engage with the most people, so that we can, I can see that things are happening. So, what did I say here? Let me go back up real quick. I'll do the player ratings. Leno, I did 3. Chambers, I did 3. White, I gave a 5. Mari, I did a 3. Tyranny 7. Sambi 7. Sambi was my between Sambi and ESR. They were my co-man of the matches. I didn't really want to give one to anyone because I don't believe in giving men of the matches on L's. I could be wrong, whatever. But no, if you hung a L, especially like that, to Brentford, no man of the matches. But they were the 2 best players that played that day. Okay. Shaka, I gave a 6. Martinelli, I gave a 3. Pepe, I gave a 3. Balogun, I gave a 3. The subs, I gave Saka a 7. Nelson a standard 5 because he didn't really do too much. And Tavares, a 5 as well. And then the manager, I gave a 3. And so yeah, that was it. That's my player ratings. Thank you for checking out the Ghost of Highbury. I really appreciate it. This was fun. I'm looking forward to this. Looking forward to engaging because these are all just my points. It'll be a lot cooler, a lot funner once you guys, people start watching and things like that. God willing that things grow. So I really appreciate it. It's been fun. Oh, I was just gonna touch on what I just saw on Twitter that updated. It was that no, I don't want to see that. It was something about Aubameyang. So let me find it. Yeah, I can't. Where is it? Where is this thing? Oh, Sky's reporting that Barcelona are interested in Aubameyang, and the La Liga side are willing to offer Coutinho in part exchange as part of the deal. So obviously, it came out that they're like $1.5 billion in debt. So they're trying to offload money. He's like on 400 grand a week. Nah, I'm not with that. Nothing against him, but we don't need any more big money dudes who are coming at the end trying to earn. Because here's what'll happen: he'll come in and ball, and then we will be doing the sign the ting dance again. We'll give him big money. We'll put him on 300 grand a week, and then he will fall off the cliff, just like all of the rest of them do. Okay, this will be Arsenal retirement home. It already partially is, but now it'll grow. I want somebody, I don't care if they're a big name. I need somebody who will produce and who wants to produce. Not somebody at the end of their career who's trying to earn that last big payday. I don't know about you, but we have plenty of those guys. So we don't need that. So no, I'm good with Aubameyang. We get him for 2 more years. Big money guy has actually done things to help lift up the club. Why don't you give him 10 chances? 10. Okay, I'll be conservative. Give him 5 clear-cut chances a game and see what happens. Not one where he messes up the header or has to do some sort of scorpion kick to get a goal in or something like that. And then we're all pissed saying that he is, his form is dipped, which it has. But yeah, we're giving him 1-2 chances and expecting him to be freaking Pele. Give me a break. Okay. But he's done things. He's won Golden Boot twice, or tied once and then came in second. All of a sudden, he's awful now? Or we put him into a position where we can't get the best out of him because we don't care. All we care about is what the manager says we do. Well, we taking an L with that philosophy. So are we going to change it, or are we going to keep hanging L's? Because usually when you hang L's, that means your job's on the line. And if you don't care, okay, then I don't care either. Anywho, that's it for me. That's it for this stream. I'll be back soon. I'll post. You'll see a schedule when it comes out. I don't want to post. I don't want to. I don't want to stream too much, because then, for what? It's just me. When I see the audience is growing, I will definitely stream more. I'll definitely will do another stream towards the end of the week so we can do a preview of the game against Chelsea. I happen to be living currently, temporarily, with a Chelsea fan. We were related by blood. No, we were related by marriage, actually. And it's difficult. It's difficult to watch them win the Champions League after they were so mediocre all year last year with all that money, all that talent, and be awful. And then for a new manager to come in, straighten them out, and then they make the run that they did and win the Champions League. It was absolutely awful to live with, because he enjoyed every minute of it. Ugh. Anywho, yes, we'll get ready for that game. We'll prep. Hopefully things have been different. Hopefully we get somebody in. Hopefully, I don't know if Aubameyang and Laca going to make some sort of miraculous recovery or not, but hopefully they do. And yeah, that's it. So I really appreciate if you're watching this live, or if you catch it during the week, on YouTube or Twitch. But it's been real. It's been fun. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time on the Ghost of Highbury. Peace.